Emergency vehicles, civilians running. Narration. In the past weeks, Al-Shabaab launched a series of deadly assaults, including a hotel siege in Beledweyne and an attempted assassination targeting President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud. Dozens of civilians lost their lives, while many more were injured. These attacks underline the group's continued ability to strike at the heart of Somalia, despite ongoing military operations against them. Visual. Somali parliament sessions, leaders addressing media. Narration. In response, Somali leaders came forward with strong words of condemnation. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud reassured the nation that the government would not bow to fear. Former presidents, including Sharif Sheikh Ahmed and Mohammed Abdullahi Farmajo, also voiced their outrage, calling the attacks cowardly and destructive. For once, the message was united. Al-Shabaab cannot break the Somali spirit. Visual. Street interviews, vigils, community gatherings. Narration. On the streets of Mogadishu and other cities, ordinary Somalis expressed anger and defiance. Community elders, religious leaders, and youth organizations all condemned Al-Shabaab's actions, saying the violence only deepens the suffering of innocent people. Many Somalis are demanding tougher action against extremists, while also calling for unity and reconciliation. Visual. African Union forces, AMISOM, UN press conferences, US and EU statements. Narration. Condemnation also came from abroad. The African Union mission in Somalia, the United Nations, and Western allies such as the United States and the European Union all expressed solidarity with the Somali government. They pledged continued support in the fight against terrorism through training, funding, and intelligence sharing. Visual. Somali National Army in operations, rural areas where militants hide. Narration. Yet condemning Al-Shabaab is only part of the battle. The group controls pockets of rural territory, funds itself through extortion and smuggling, and recruits from vulnerable communities. Military operations have weakened them, but they remain resilient. The Somali National Army, with the support of clan militias and international partners, continues to push forward. But victory is far from guaranteed. Visual. Somali youth waving flags, rebuilding schools and markets, women leading peace efforts. Narration. Despite the hardships, Somalia's story is not one of defeat. Every act of violence is met with resilience. Communities are rebuilding, youth are refusing to be radicalized, and leaders are pledging to strengthen governance and security. The people's determination to live in peace is stronger than the terrorists' desire to destroy. Visual. Montage. Somali flag rising, leaders addressing the nation, soldiers saluting. Narration. Al-Shabaab's attacks continue to cause pain, but Somalia's leaders and citizens are sending a clear message. Terrorism will not win. The road ahead is long and difficult, but through unity, resilience, and international support, Somalia is determined to overcome the threat. The condemnation of Al-Shabaab is not just about words. It is a declaration of defiance and a promise of a brighter future. Somalia has once again been shaken by deadly attacks carried out by the militant group Al-Shabaab. But this time, the political response has been loud and clear. Somali leaders, former presidents, and international partners have strongly condemned the violence. What does this mean for Somalia's war on terror? And where does the fight go from here? Let's find out. Beledweyne aftermath, emergency vehicles, civilians fleeing. Narration. In recent weeks, Al-Shabaab launched a series of deadly assaults, including a hotel siege in Beledweyne and an attempted assassination targeting President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud. Dozens of civilians lost their lives while many more were injured. These attacks underline the group's continued ability to strike despite ongoing military campaigns. Somali Parliament sessions, leaders speaking. Narration. In response, Somali leaders delivered strong words of condemnation. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud reassured the nation that the government would not bow to fear. Former presidents, including Sharif Sheikh Ahmed and Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo, also voiced their outrage. The message was united. Al-Shabaab cannot break the Somali spirit. Archival images of 2006 Islamic courts, Al-Shabaab fighters, early battles. Narration. Al-Shabaab's story begins nearly 2 decades ago, rising from the remnants of the Islamic Courts Union in 2006. Initially, they gained support by promising law and order, but soon their extremist ideology, brutal punishments, and ties to Al-Qaeda turned them into one of Africa's deadliest insurgent groups. Their goal remains clear: to topple Somalia's government and impose a strict version of Islamic law across the region. Street interviews, vigils, community gatherings. Narration. On the streets of Mogadishu and other cities, ordinary Somalis expressed anger and defiance. Elders, religious leaders, and youth organizations all condemned Al-Shabaab's actions. Many called for stronger unity and reconciliation, emphasizing that only together can Somalis defeat extremism. Hospital footage, families mourning, survivors speaking. Narration. Behind every attack are human stories. Survivors describe moments of terror as explosions rocked hotels and markets. Families mourned loved ones lost in senseless violence. Their voices remind us that this fight is not just political, it is about protecting innocent lives and ensuring a future where children can grow without fear. African Union troops, UN offices, US-EU statements. Narration. The African Union, the United Nations, and international allies all condemned the attacks, promising continued support. From military training to financial assistance, Somalia's partners recognize that defeating Al-Shabaab is not only Somalia's struggle, it is a global battle against extremism. Somali army patrols, rural hideouts, clan militias. Narration. Still, the road ahead is tough. Al-Shabaab continues to control rural territories, extorting communities and recruiting vulnerable youth. The Somali National Army, supported by local militias and 8 mass forces, has made gains. But without long-term stability, militants can always regroup. The challenge is not just military. It is also political, economic, and social. Peace talks footage, development projects, schools being rebuilt. Narration. Experts argue that defeating Al-Shabaab requires more than weapons. Strengthening governance, fighting corruption, investing in education, and creating jobs for youth are essential steps. Some even call for exploring dialogue with defectors, offering pathways out of extremism. Lasting peace will only come when communities feel protected, represented, and hopeful. Somali flag rising, leaders addressing crowds, children smiling. Narration. Al-Shabaab's violence continues to cause pain, but Somalia's people and leaders are sending a powerful message: terrorism will not win. With unity at home and support abroad, Somalia stands determined to defeat extremism and build a brighter, safer future.